Hello, friends. Thank you so much for your patience. I am very happy to be here with you today. I'm just checking to make sure that I am showing up live. Happy Monday. Welcome to a new week. Welcome to a new month. Happy August. I hope you're all feeling really well, starting off a new month, the last month of summer. At least for us here in the Northeast, those of you who live further south get to enjoy summer really year round for the most part, right? Sometimes it turns into spring a little bit, right? But I am happy to be here with you today to talk about being trapped by your calendar. This is something that is actually really near and dear to my heart because this is something that was so present for me and so prevalent, particularly really only when I was a therapist. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Laura Mazzotta. I'm an Akashic therapist. That means I've been a therapist for almost 20 years. I've been in solo practice, so I've been an entrepreneur for 2 decades now and have a highly successful therapy practice with a wait list for the past 5 years at least. So I have now transitioned over to Akashic healing and teaching, which is the Akashic Records are a spiritual modality. I work with a lot of other spiritual and energetic modalities as well, but I love integrating this into assisting people with healing because it really cuts to the core of what the issue is very quickly. So I find it to be the most efficient and effective way to get much deeper layers of healing. Obviously, there is a place for therapy, and I love the fact that it's available to people because it's a good first stop shop. But I don't feel, no matter what modality you're practicing, that it goes deeply enough. And I know that some of that innovation is coming into the therapy field, which is very exciting. So hopefully I will see some shifts in that, right? We'll see some shifts in that over the years as people really just open their eyes more to how much more deeply we do need to heal to be able to truly understand some of these patterns that occur, not only individually, but collectively as well. And we end up in patterns and cycles all the time, right? We're human beings, we're habitual creatures. I'm going to be talking about habit next week, actually. But one of the habits actually, that I developed was being trapped by my calendar. And one of the cycles that I fell into was checking my calendar obsessively. So this was all anxiety related, right? And what happens when we feel like, I can't do that because I have this, and this scheduled. I can't do that because I still have to schedule this, and that person, whether it's a client or whether this is just calendar items from your family or for yourself, right? It's really interesting because we all are energetic beings and we all have a combination of masculine and feminine energy. Feminine energy is all about flowing, less structure, listening to your gut, listening to your intuition, and allowing that to guide you through your day. Whereas masculine energy is more structured. So it's really nice to have both because you do need that structure and because it helps keep the feminine energy feel safe, right? So that it can flow. So I appreciate having the structure of a calendar for sure. But you want to make sure that you don't get so stuck in it and so attached to it and so committed to it that it doesn't allow your energy to flow outside of that. Because that's when we miss out on fun, we miss out on things that are calling to us that we might think, well, I can't do that because I have this on my calendar. And so what happens is we then feel trapped by all of the things that we've put on our calendar, yet we are in control of that, right? We have control of what we are putting on our calendar. So you get to decide how much you follow that too. I like to see my calendar now as a loose structure. So I made schedules for myself for last week. I had been recovering from surgery and I was kind of low energy and I was like, all right, this is going to be helpful to just keep me focused, get me back into the swing of things. Most of the time I don't operate with a schedule for the day, but it was actually really helpful last week. And I might implement a partial schedule this week just because it did work so well last week. But what was great about that when you create a schedule versus being tracked by your calendar, and I'll explain the difference, is that when you create a schedule, you can put in there, like for me, I woke up, I had breakfast, I showered, I brushed my teeth, I meditated, I journaled, I put that in my calendar. I took a walk, I put that in my calendar. And it's funny because when we're recovering from something like surgery, or when we're recovering from an illness, or we're not feeling at our best physically or emotionally, we focus on those little things. And we even celebrate those little things sometimes. Like, yeah, like for me, recovering from surgery was like, oh, yay, I showered today. This is great. You know, coming right from surgery, I showered and I still have energy to hang out with my kids or to journal or to make dinner or whatever, right? And so when we get out of that and we are in the quote unquote hustle and bustle, which a lot of people are in this world, even if we work really hard to not be in the hustle and bustle, there's still hustle and bustle that exists in our world, right? And that impacts us and that kind of calls to us, okay? So when we get back into that, when we get back into that hustle mindset or that hustle and bustle, we end up forgetting to appreciate or set aside time for things like showering, taking a walk, meditating, journaling. So when you put it down in a schedule, it reminds you, oh yeah, that's what I know. When I was in a really good space, and I do this on Sunday nights typically, where I'll create just like an intention. I set a few intentions for the week. And sometimes those intentions have absolutely nothing to do with my business. Sometimes those intentions are just about me, taking care of me. So this week, one of my intentions is to find a new recipe because I've shifted my eating a lot recently. And some of it is because of, you know, the symptoms that I was having with my physical body. But one of my goals this week was to find a creative way to create one of my favorite meals with the new ingredients. So that is something that allows me to tap into my creativity. It allows me space to be able to explore what feels good to me. It makes me feel comfortable because I know that I'm going to be able to eat something that I really love without having to worry about how it's going to make me feel. And so I'm planning in advance, which is going to offer me pride in myself. It's going to make me feel more confident that I'm going to feel well. And honestly, I'm going to be excited to have one of my meals that I love. And so it's really important for us to make sure that we keep these kinds of things, the things that make us feel this way, in our calendar. So, flashback to when I was a therapist full-time and was not doing healing work. I love the good old paper calendar, my friends. Love the paper calendar. I do operate mostly on my digital calendar now. Hi, Darlene. So good to see you. I hope you had a good weekend. I do mostly operate on my digital calendar at this point. And I like having it, again, as a scaffolding. Thank you. It was so funny, Darlene, because this morning I was like, I want to look pretty today because I've been recovering from surgery. So I've been in like sweats for 2.5 weeks. And my husband was like, look at you. I was like, yeah, I want to feel pretty today. So I chucked the necklace on. Thanks so much. So yeah, so, you know, what I would do with my calendar when I was a therapist is I would write down, you know, my clients. I would just put my clients on my calendar. And then what I would do is I would count them each week. I would count my clients, right? Yes. I love my paper planner, but my business requires the digital 100%. And you know what I really love too is I love that with the digital calendar, I get to just put like 3 things in my calendar per day. That's my rule. And so it's funny because it's like I used to be trapped by how many clients do I have? How many hours am I working? As a definition, part of the definition for my success, which, my friends, is 100% scarcity mentality. It's totally fear. You know, it's totally fear about like, okay, am I good enough this week because I have seen enough clients? Am I good enough because I've done enough things for my business this week? Right? Oh, no, no, no. This is that obsessive mentality that comes in when we get really afraid of failing. Okay? So that's why I was like, ditch it, baby. Peace out. And instead I created this loose structure. Thank you so much, Darlene. You're so sweet. I created this loose structure around it. So for me, my loose structure is based on a couple rules, basically, that I've created for myself. So you guys create your own rules. And one of those rules is I don't do more than 3 things a day. Now, these 3 things a day could be personal, they could be professional, they could be meeting with clients, or they could be just doing some admin work or some sales creation work in the background, or offer creation, things like that. I never put more than 3 things on my calendar. That doesn't mean that I don't do things all day, every day, because I do. I do things all day, every day. But I allow my energy in the moment to dictate that. What do I feel like doing right now? And the only 3 things that I feel I need to do or I need to show up for as an appointment are those 3 things I put on my calendar. So Darlene says, I actually plan in white space, empty space every day where I can do whatever. It feels good. Yeah, exactly. I was just talking about how I created a schedule for myself for last week because I was kind of coming back from surgery and stepping back into working again. And it was so helpful because I scheduled in the things that I know are really supportive for me, not only physically and emotionally, but, you know, for my business as well. So it was taking a walk, it was meditating, it was journaling, it was resting. Like I put rest time in chunks, you know? So it's really, really important that if you are going to abide by a calendar or a structure of some sort, that you allow either that you schedule in that white space, like Darlene says, or you put in those things specifically that you know, like for me, I need to write them down specifically because it holds me accountable to do the things that I know make me feel the most vital. And so I'm really what I like to call, I say it to tell my clients all the time, love yourself forward. So when we love ourselves forward, what we're doing is we're saying like, yeah, I'm putting this in because I know that once I get to that moment in time, I'm going to be very thankful to myself for offering myself, telling me what is best for me in this moment. And even in that moment, I can tune in and say, all right, does this feel right? Or do I want to do something different? But I know that whatever I'm going to choose is going to serve me deeply in that moment. And it's the cue to assist me with doing that. Okay, so that's what I really encourage you to do. I do want you to have that structure and that holding container to make you feel like, yeah, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, you know, to be able to move forward in my day and to feel productive and to feel good about myself and things like that. Because we do appreciate, our energy appreciates guidance, direction, right? Especially when we're entrepreneurs, you know, and that's why I'm talking to you guys about this because this doesn't apply for everybody. It doesn't apply for somebody who's working a 9-to-5 and their boss is dictating their calendar, right? But for people who get to choose, I want you to choose in the way that doesn't trap you, right? That doesn't block you in. Because I want you to realize that, you know, if you have something scheduled, I actually know, and I didn't necessarily agree with this, to be honest with you, at the time, but I actually know a therapist who she used to cancel on her clients all the time so she could go out with drinks with her friends. Like, I mean, to a degree, I celebrate her. Like, God bless you, my friend. You are at that point in your business where you can do that, you know, where you can, but she did it all the time. So like I say once in a while, fine, especially as a therapist, when you're in a role that like people are consistently, I personally believe that as a therapist, one of our primary roles, if not the primary role, is to be reliable for our clients. Like, because the people who are coming to us when they come to therapy have felt a sense of like, I don't feel fully safe or I don't feel fully rooted, you know, or solid in my foundation to be able to explore all of this healing that I need to do. And so we provide that like consistency, right? And I do feel that's a huge part of that relationship, building a foundation for that relationship. So God bless her. So I don't necessarily encourage you to cancel on your clients all the time, right? Right? Clients first always. I know. I totally agree with you. Like, listen, it's funny. I actually had, what was it? I had something scheduled, but it was something very loosely and tentatively scheduled a few Fridays ago. And then a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a few years was up from the South. And she was just like, oh my gosh, we're in the area and we're stopping by. And I was like, oh my gosh. And like her kids are really close to my kids. And I was like, absolutely, like this, absolutely, you know? But that is like once a year, like once in a blue moon that I would do something like that. But so if you have something scheduled with your clients, please honor that. However, outside of that, like if you have something else on your calendar and you're so booked in, then when something comes up that is really exciting, is going to make your energy even better to be even more available for your clients, comes up, then you're like, oh, I can't do that. And you find yourself, that's what I found for myself. I was saying no to like everything. And that's when I shifted over to this business too, because I was doing both for a while. And I was saying no to a lot of my spiritual work, but that's what I wanted to do. And that's what was lighting me up. And so it was like my calendar was restricting me. And I realized I was just holding on to that calendar because it made me feel safe, right? Like I was holding on to, okay, well, I know I have this many clients per week. And so it made me feel safe. And I'm like, no, I need to step out of that safety, right? I need to step out of that. And so I encourage you to kind of look at that and also look at what kinds of breaks are you offering yourself in between clients or in between appointments to rejuvenate your energy and feel good. And I know for me, it was coming from a space of not feeling deserving because I didn't feel like I deserved to have that time for myself. It was like, no, I'm at work. Like I need to serve my clients. I need to do this. No, right? And so we can so easily get caught in this mentality, my friends. And it's really important. These are the kinds of simple little things that it's really important to have conversations about because otherwise we just keep doing them. I mean, it's so habitual. Darlene says, love that. The balance breeds productivity and a sense of balance. Love that you're talking about this because many people overbook themselves with work and go into the hustle energy and results in them feeling depleted. Exactly. And you know what it also makes you feel like? It makes you feel like your whole life is your business. It makes you feel like you're not fully living your life because you're then trapped by, but I have to do this for my business in order to be successful. And what happens there is cognitively, our psyche gets attached to when she has this many clients or when her calendar looks like this, we're okay. You know, we're safe, we're good, right? But then you become dependent on that. And then your safety and your comfort and your confidence and your productivity and your pride all depend on that happening in your calendar, right? And so it's really important for you to just use this live as an opportunity to check in. Where can you upgrade in your structure? Making it looser, making it a little bit more flexible, adding in things to your calendar that are self-care or are exciting or are just fun for you or help you reboot your energy. Or ditching the calendar altogether and being like, I'm doing whatever the hell I want. You know, there's some days that I'm just like, I don't want to do anything that's scheduled. I literally just want to do anything I feel like doing. And guess what? Those are the days that when I'm that way, I get so much activity. I get so much client activity. I get so many reach outs. I get like tons of feedback about how powerful that was, how amazing it was, how it spoke right to their soul, things like that. Because I'm just going out of inspiration. There are no have-tos, there's no shoulds, nothing holding me back from being fully and completely myself in that moment. So I just encourage you to allow this to get you thinking and challenge yourself to go a little bit outside of your comfort zone and take a step to making your calendar a little looser. Take a step to adding a little white space. That could be 15 minutes if you have no white space in your calendar right now, right? And then you can build from there if you'd like. Ultimately, the goal here is to get where I am, which is my work is entirely planned around my life. So I am primarily, actually, no, I am fully living my life. I'm fully doing everything I want to do. I am living my life to its fullest capacity. And then I sit down and say, okay, what are the times that I want to open up here that feel really good to me to meet with clients or to connect here live with you, things like that. Okay. So I encourage you to share in the comments, because that is you stating your intention. It's you making a commitment to yourself, to the universe. So I highly encourage you to put something in the comments or write it down. If you don't want to put it in the comments, you don't want to share it publicly, write it down next to you, but you're holding yourself accountable and you're securing that into form, okay? And when we do that, we have a much higher likelihood of keeping that commitment, okay? So for those of you who do want to feel some escape from your calendar, because that's what happens, my friends. We get trapped and then you feel like you need to bust out. This is when people have panic attacks. This is when people start feeling depressed because it's like, oh, I'm stuck in blah, blah, blah. You're never stuck in anything. You literally always have choice. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, just choose to change it. How can I make this easier? What's a different way I can do this? Okay? So if you feel like I need just a few days, not part of this, like not part of being with other people right now, like the people that I'm used to, like my workmates or my family even, or my home and having to take care of the responsibilities of my home, or running errands, or my calendar, or my phone ringing off the hook, or my emails I have to respond to. I have an absolutely beautiful retreat that's coming up in October. It's in the Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania. So for those of us in the Northeast, very accessible by car. We are going to take you through the most immersive healing experience. You are going to leave this opportunity feeling like $1,000,000. You're going to feel like a completely new person. That I guarantee, because we are going to address your healing at every single layer, from the absolute deepest to what's just brimming on the surface. You can apply for this retreat through the link in the comments and read all about it so you can see if it's a good fit for you. And there's also virtual tickets available. So you don't have to apply for virtual tickets. If you'd like a virtual ticket, you can just send me a message and we can chat about whether this is in alignment with your needs right now. But this is a beautiful, this retreat is called Embrace. You know, allow us to embrace you so that you have this safe space to be held while you do this deep healing work, and to fully embrace yourself entirely as you are, right? Like appreciating your wholeness, celebrating your wholeness, weaving your wholeness, actually weaving all of the experiences in your life into the web of who you are, right? The full Laura Mazzotta, full Darlene, full whoever else is here on the replay. Okay, so reach out if you guys have any questions, and I will see you live next week on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time here in this group. I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to be talking about when you become a creature of habit, because this is another way that we can get really stuck and can sabotage our businesses. Okay, so I will see you then, and have a wonderful week. Bye.